His 8 books that changed my life and helped me build a £430,000 investment portfolio starting from zero 11 years ago. The first one is number one for a reason. The eighth on the list and the final one is the book that I've read within the last couple of years that completely changed my outlook and philosophy with regards to investing and told me that I was wrong. I'll also share some tips that have helped me consume more books, more content. I'm not much of a reader actually, but now I read a lot of books, a lot of content, and consume this knowledge, which has helped me massively on my journey. Book number one, like I said, is number one on the list for a reason, and it's The Chimp Paradox by Professor Steve Peters. So Professor Peters is world renowned. He's worked with some of the top sportsmen on the planet, Steven Gerrard, Ronnie O'Sullivan, helping them with their mindset. And it really helped me understand my head. I struggled with anxiety. I used to get huge pressure. I always wanted to be the best at everything I did. And since reading the book, it's really helped me manage my own brain and understand why I do that. And that's huge with investing as well, because it's helped me stay the course. It's helped me know that I can only do my best. Things are massively outside of my control. I don't want my little lizard brain or chimp brain to react to those things, and I just stay the course. Investing is a long-term journey. I want to stay through this through thick and thin. I'm not going to react emotionally. And this book has changed way more than just my investing journey. It's changed me hugely as a person, and that's why it's number one on the list. The second book, which is probably more inclined to most of the viewers on this channel, is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Now, this is a great book. It really changed how I feel about money and how I think. I think everyone should read this. I think it should be shared in schools. I think if you haven't invested yet, read this before you do start. But it also compounds on what the Chimp Paradox told me about not reacting emotionally, about how to understand my brain. And it let me know that, the best investors aren't the people who earn the most money. They aren't the smartest people. They're often the people who don't react emotionally, can steer the course, and can continue to see things out. It tells the story of a janitor and a Harvard graduate. The Harvard graduate earned millions in their career. The janitor earned, probably minimum wage, and how the janitor ended up with a significantly greater investment portfolio by, paying themselves first and putting money aside, whereas the investor or the Harvard graduate did the opposite and had a very extreme, lavish lifestyle. The next book is a popular one, but probably I would say controversial now, just because of the author himself, and that's Rich Dad Poor Dad, which comes as a surprise to nobody, I would imagine. But I read this very early in the journey, and it made me think differently about investments, assets, and liabilities. It also taught me to pay myself first. It let me know things like my house isn't an asset. So I was paying down the mortgage at the time, and this made me change. And instead of paying down the mortgage, I started to invest. There's a ton of things in this book. It's really, really valuable. I know Robert's quite a controversial character now, but I still do think this book is very, very valuable and a great book to read if you've not read it before. For book number 4, I'm changing tact a little bit. This is a very different book to the rest on the list, and it's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. I couldn't create a list without this book. It's written by a Holocaust survivor. It's not a business book. It's way more important than that. And it's how you can live your life and respond to anything that's thrown at you. Earlier in my life, I always used to think that I wanted to avoid hard situations. I wanted to avoid difficult things. And the truth is that's impossible. Whatever we want to do, hard things are going to come our way. We're going to lose loved ones. We're going to have difficult situations. It's about understanding your own mind and how you can, get through adversity. It's a must read. It's very eye-opening and it's emotional, but it's really worth giving a read and having a look at that one if you've not read it before. The next one on the list is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Can I swear on this? I don't know. YouTube might kill me for that. By Mark Manson. This one, again, was a real eye-opener for me, and it's just about not caring about the little things. There's enough in life that we absolutely have to care about, but most of the time, if we're honest for ourselves, we get caught up in worrying about little things that will never impact us, or little things that seem huge in the moment, but in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, it'll be absolutely insignificant. And it's really helped me to kind of dedicate and free up that mind space and worry less about these things, because at the end of the day, most of them are not that important. And it's helped me massively, along with the Chimp Paradox, with my mindset. And that's a must read for anyone, in my opinion. And then investing for me is and it's all about habits. And a great book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And this is all about building systems. Goals are great, but you need systems to get you there. And I think there's a quote in there where you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And, you know, my investment strategy, I try to invest around £17,000 a year. That isn't a goal. It's a system. It's a direct debit that goes out of my bank. I pay myself first. It's small, consistent actions that compound. And this is a real practical book that helps you with things. It actually helps you with so much more. But for me, going to the gym, I go to the gym and I reward myself with a black coffee after. It's little things like that that you can do to help those habits stick. Quite a new one that I've read is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, but this comes in at number 7. This has helped me massively with investing because he talks a lot about compounding and the impact of compounding, but it's also helped me stick with other things in my life. I try to see decisions now as a long-term decision. So, for example, I'll give you an example. I'm starting to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the moment. And, you know, I probably would have quit 2 or 3 times already if I hadn't read this book. But I went into starting to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with a vision of making it a 10-year plan. I want to be at least a purple belt in 10 years, which is really modest. But the biggest goal of that and the system I've set up is making sure I turn up twice a week. And that's it. Simple. But that book really, really helped me to think long term, to think of those small decisions that compound over time. Well worth a read. And then the last one that I'm going to share is Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. Now, this was a real eye-opener for me because previously I wanted to create as much wealth as possible. I wanted to create an investment portfolio that I could pass down and share with my family and, you know, my kids could inherit. And this changed my thinking. It was about investing in life moments, getting those dividends early and using your money to have the best possible time. And I've taken this on board massively. So I'm now a lot more liberal with how I spend money. I want to enjoy my kids while they're young. I want to go on really nice holidays. I don't want to leave them with tons of money. You know, it'd be great for them to invest lots of money, but hopefully I'm well into my 80s by the time I, you know, kick the bucket. And, you know, hopefully, well, they'll be 50-ish or, you know, maybe even closer to 60, depending on when that happens. They hopefully won't need money as much then, but will they need money when they're 17 for the driving lessons and the first car? Will they need money when they want to gap year and they want to travel the world? Will they need money for their first house? So I want to do things like that and give them money earlier. But also personally, I've got a list of things that I want to do. I want to swim with sharks. I want to drive a Porsche around Silverstone. There's loads of things that I want to do. And I've got a timeline of those things that I'm going to do in my life. And I'm going to use the money that I've been able to build in my investment portfolio to have those life events and those memories while I can, because, you know, diving with sharks in the 80s probably isn't that possible. So there you have it. There's the 8 things. The tip that I said I would share with you, and this has been huge for me, and it's a simple one, is I used to be a huge listener to music, got Spotify, listened to tons of music all of the time. And I still do. I love music. I'm not saying we replace music here. But what I've done a little bit of the time is I replaced listening to music with audiobooks and podcasts. So I'm consuming content and learning, whereas before I was just listening to music. And that's been a real game changer for me because it's helped me, you know, read a lot more of these books and get this content. And these books have helped me no end, you know, both from a mental perspective, from my life, from kind of self-improvement, but also my investing journey. So hopefully that helps someone. Check the books out. If you have any questions below, let me know. I'll see you in the next one.